So the shortage of qualified leaders to implement global strategy. Nike said they could grow 75% faster if they had managers to manage what they know they should do. Think about it. We could grow our business 75% more if we had the right people. Another thing that's the area I work in. Global consumer markets and the impact on marketing functions. We now have global markets in India, Southeast Asia, China, all over, and the customers are all wanting the same thing. So we've really shifted away from B2B to back to consumer markets. And the question is, and this is one of the areas that a guy at Bond looks at, is should we have these umbrella global brands that matches everybody in the world to our product? Or is there a liability to that? Now, should Microsoft be global, or should you break Microsoft up into what are called hip pocket organizations, where you just say, oh, this is our company for South Africa, here's our company for Saudi Arabia, whatever. It's a big problem that's coming up in the future. This is one that people get really upset about when I talk about, and there's a lot of it in this room. Managerial ignorance. What is managerial ignorance? If I tell you you're ignorant, what does that mean?
Understanding in the level of organizational thinking, this kind of thing.
That's an example of it, but when I tell you you're ignorant, what does that mean to you?
You're not understanding.
You're stupid. Well, it's not though. What ignorance is you don't know what you don't know. I don't even know what question to ask. And what we've got now is when I deal with managers, they don't know what a global market means. They don't know how it's going to impact their company. They don't even know the information they need to solve those problems. And what I see is an awful lot of people are hung up with multinational and they're trying to make it global, and it won't work. Multinational looks like this, global is going to look like that. There's a gap between there, which is non-continuous learning. Anybody that's mathematics knows how difficult it is to come up with an equation that talks about something that stops in the middle. That's what we've got, and that's a real problem. There should be all kinds of research going on as how do I determine the level of ignorance amongst my managers in my company? How do I get them to run the company when they don't know what they're doing? It's like saying, okay, fly this Qantas 747 to LA. Okay, I'm just sitting there kind of driving, kind of like it's my car. The answer is, are you going to make it to LA? And the answer is no. Are many of these companies going to get to this company? The answer is no. Okay? Another thing that's going on is the acceleration of time. Everything has to be done quicker, faster, more rapidly than your competition. If you go back to 1936, there was an Austrian economist called Joseph Schumpeter. He was really insightful in what he did. And what he said was, the key to strategy that nobody else can duplicate is how fast you can do things. He also said you should destroy whatever you see in front of you. Make it different. Every time you make a strategic change, make what's in front of you obsolete, and do it quickly. And what happens is, you end up being a leader and everybody's following behind you, trying to figure out what you're doing. Social time just means that time no longer means what it used to mean. We've developed a term called timescapes. We've taken time and we've broken it down into 8 different dimensions. We say to understand how to compete effectively, I've got to look at each one of these dimensions and say, how can I change them so I can speed up what I'm doing? When I had my own business, we used to develop 10-year plans. If anybody tells you they're developing a 10-year plan, they're an idiot. Because they have no idea what's going to be going on in 10 years. I know what I'm going to be doing in 10 years, but you guys don't. You don't know what your company's going to be doing in 10 years. We now have 1-year plans. I have companies in the United States that have 1-quarter plans. Okay? That's how fast these things are changing. A couple more trends. Globalization is going to change anything. What's an emerging market? 7/8 of the world's population is going to live in these countries. And again, we know they're China, we know they're India, we know it's Brazil, we know it's Russia, we know all of those things. And we're saying those people are going to be the consumers of the future. Let me tell you how it impacts me. My field is international human resource management, getting the right people in the right location. Hassan comes to, I go to Hassan and I say, look, I'd like you and your family to move overseas when I'm in a multinational company. I'd like you to go to 3 to 5 years and we're going to put you in Paris. He goes home and talks to his wife. Oh, okay, well, yeah, there's good schools for the kids there. We can go do that. And I say, after 5 years, I'll bring you back and you'll get a promotion and you'll be in charge of something. Great. The company now changes to a global company. goes through this discontinuous learning. I now go to the same guy in the same company and I say, we'd like you to move overseas for 25 or 30 years. Oh, by the way, you're going to be in Bangladesh. Why? Well, it's the customers of the future. Why am I going to be gone for 25 or 30 years? Because if you're good, I can't afford to bring you back. You're so valuable to the company. The company's future is not its home market, it's all these other markets. And you're going to be in charge of Bangladesh, India, the subcontinent there. And I can't move you out of there, which means your family's going to have to be there for 25 or 30 years. Look at the change from one to the other. 5 years, 30 years, Paris, Bangladesh. It's coming, guys. It's coming like a freight train. And the reason it is because these emerging markets are so important. What's a transition market? You see these terms every day. You should know what they are. What's a transition market?
Markets moving from, for example, development to emerging, or from emerging to advanced markets.
You're on the right track, though.
Hong Kong is one of the transition markets. Like
Nope.
it's moving things towards China, but it's
Not, again, I'm talking strictly technically the way we've defined it in academic literature.
Temporary one?
No, transition market is one is moving from a centrally controlled environment to a market-driven environment. Czech Republic, Romania, Hungary, all the rest of those are transition markets. Why are they so important? Do they have as many people as the emerging? The emerging markets have 7/8 of the world's population. That's why they're important. What do the transition markets have that's as important or more important than people? They've got smart people. They've got well-educated, well-motivated people in those countries that can be your global managers of the future. So you might want to get involved in, even though it's not as big as China, what it is, it's got a whole bevy of good employees that you can hire. Hyper-competition, this just means everything's accelerating. Consolidation means we've got the European Union, we've got NAFTA, there's going to be the Pacific Free Trade Association. You know, we've got all these things that are globbing together. What's the key to these multinational market groups? They trade with each other. They don't trade between the multinational market groups. So all of a sudden we've got Europe, we've got North America, we've got the Pacific Rim. There's 23 multinational market groups in the world. And what it says is they're going to get to know each other real well and they're going to exclude him. What happens if you're Japan? What happens if you're Australia and you're not in one? And you're not going to be in one? Why? Why aren't they?
You're not big enough.
Not big enough. Who cares? 23 million people. We spill that much in the United States. That many people come across the border every year in the United States. Don't worry about it. Discontinuous learning is these holes. Intervention, okay. If I'm going to do research that has an impact, and this is one of the things you should start thinking about, what does it have to do to have impact? I've been doing it for 40 years. I've narrowed it down to about 5 or 6 things. Your research would be well accepted if it has these points, in my opinion. The first thing is it has well-grounded theory. Every paper should be based upon a foundation of, I can tell you what's going to happen without collecting the data. Why is that so important?
Security. The research.
Yeah, it shows reasoned thinking. It shows logic. It shows that there is a way to predict what's going to take place. Now let me test it to see whether this really works. If I don't have any basis for this, it's just a shot in the dark. Oh, look what I found. Well, what's it based on? I don't know, but I found it. Remember, when you collect data, the ability to generalize it is normally very limited. You're collecting cultural data. Can I apply that across all cultures? The answer is no. Can I do it in the 8 clusters that Hofstede came up with? You got a better chance there. But what we're saying here is the theory should apply any place. Okay? Planes fly for a theory. I don't care whether they're Airbuses or they're Boeings. They fly for a reason. I don't care whether it's a 747 or it's a 737. They fly for a reason. And your theory, if you have a good paper, it should be based upon a theoretical approach. The way a paper is laid out, the first section is, here's what I'm going to be doing, here's the hole I'm going to fill. Now let me tell you how the second part, this theory helps me fill that hole. And then I'll go collect data based upon this theory.